Hey, I just want to mention that this is my first video, so please ignore the bad voice quality and my terrible accent. It's already been a few weeks since Dragon Ball Super Broly released in theaters, and it even got leaked on the internet, and I think everyone had a chance to watch it, so I think it's time to make a review. And yes, there will be spoilers ahead, so let's get into the review. There's many things Dragon Ball Super Broly got right, so I'm gonna break it down to you. First off, Broly himself. Back in the day, and I am obviously referring to the 19th Broly the Legendary Super Saiyan trilogy, the main problem with the old Broly was none than his hatred to Goku. The reason that he hates Goku was just silly and cheesy that makes it sometimes hard to take it seriously. He shouldn't even be able to remember it. In the new movie it's been scratched, and instead they made him the same age as Vegeta, and have no hatred towards anyone. They still kept some elements from the old trilogy, like King Vegeta's attempt to murder Broly, but in the new movie not in a direct way, sending him to planet Vampa where dangerous monsters live there. Baby Broly will have no chance of surviving on his own, or at least King Vegeta thought so. And in process, his father Pargas stole a ship and went to planet Vampa to rescue his son. And because Pargas crash landed on the planet, his ship was damaged, leaving him or anyone else no way to get off this planet. With a limited supply of food and water, Pargas shoots and kills the other Saiyan that was with him to make sure all the food and water will be for himself and his son. From now on, Goku is no different than Broly. Goku had his grandfather Gohan and Broly had his father Pargas. The only difference is Goku later had Bulma to show him the world, which leads him to what he is today. Current Broly is no different than a 12 years old Goku. He is pure and more sympathetic, unlike his old version which they made him like a devil. His new version is more likable, and they did a great work on showing his origin, which is more interesting than just making him angry and evil for literally no reason. And his powers too. Broly's powers wasn't that big in the beginning. He was easily defeated by Super Saiyan Blue Goku, and it was shown that this was his limit, up until Frieza killed his father, which made him angry and turned it Super Saiyan for the first time in process, just like Goku. And because he was already so powerful in his base slash great ape form, his power level as Super Saiyan is incredible. And if you're wondering why Goku and Vegeta didn't use their next form, Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken and Super Saiyan Blue Evolution, like they did versus Jiren, well, that's because when they were fighting Jiren, they thought they could win. Because Jiren didn't use his full power up until the very end. And them being shocked with that power gap between them and Jiren, which they didn't know about the whole fight. On the other hand, Broly was already full power, and his power was still rising. And if they fought him with their full power, he will become much stronger. And Saiyan gets stronger as they fight. And in Broly's case, it's really obvious. So fusion was the only way to defeat him at this point. And the Gogeta vs Broly fight was amazing, probably the best fight scene in this movie, and arguably the best in Dragon Ball Super. So yeah, the whole Broly arc was perfectly in this movie, and in my opinion, it has absolutely not a single flaw. Broly was the main thing in this movie. Having get him out of the way, let's talk about the first 20 minutes of the movie. The movie starts with King Cold approaching planet Vegeta and introducing his son Frieza to the Saiyans. Now, Frieza's introduction was amazing. How he started off with killing few Saiyans on the guard tower was just amazing, showing off that Frieza was no joke since day one. Later on, King Vegeta is talking about how exceptional his son is and how he broke the record of a baby Saiyan, which is something many people tend to forget. Well, up until Broly shows and you know the rest. Let's move on and talk about Goku's father, Bardock. Bardock seems to be pretty smart, but Goku isn't. Maybe that's from his mother, I don't know. Anyway, most of people think that this was retelling slash reboot of Goku's origin, which is actually wrong. The old Bardock episodes and the flashback of Grandpa Gohan finding Goku is actually, yeah, non-canon. Yes, Grandpa finding Goku was narrated but not shown in the manga up until 2014 when Akira Toriyama, the main author of Dragon Ball franchise, decided to show Goku's origin in the manga. Dragon Ball minus the departure of the fated child. which is the same as the movie, so this isn't retelling, rather being his real origin. Whether you like it or not, which I do like it by the way, it was also done perfectly fine, with it being sad and touching, with a pretty good background music. And lastly, Frieza, the main villain of the movie. I really can't find a way to describe it, but seeing evil Frieza on the screen just never gets old. And after the ending of Dragon Ball Super, some people thought that Frieza is no longer evil, or at least no longer seeking for revenge. This movie is removing any doubt. Frieza is still as bad as ever, which is something I was actually concerned about, but fortunately it's still the same. I've been talking all the time about the plot of the movie, which is actually the most important thing. Let's now talk about the visuals, and oh boy, the animation was terrific. It's definitely one of the best movies in terms of animation, if not the best. It may seem exaggeration to some of you, but I personally liked everything about this movie, from the beginning to the ending. It's totally a masterpiece in Dragon Ball history, having everything the fans ever wanted. If you've been out there in social media during the time Dragon Ball Super was still airing, people went begging for Broly. Theories about him returning was endless. I even remember when the official image of Goku Black was released and him having a green Potara earring. Some people even said that he was Broly, aside from people who said that he was Future Goten. Broly was a most wanted feature in Dragon Ball Super, and we finally got him, and even better. I give this movie 9 out of 10. And what about you guys? What you like or didn't like in the movie? Say in the comments. And consider leaving a like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more videos, and see you guys later.